Grace and peace, everyone. Welcome back to the show. Today we'll be going over and reviewing a video that was 1 liberal woman versus 20 conservative women. All of them are Christians, so it'll be a very interesting video. We'll see kind of the different perspectives and some key points and hot topics within the community. So without saying anything further, let's check it out, get into it.
The first prompt is Trump supporters have abandoned all conservative values.
Okay. Anyone who wants to have this conversation, come on now.
Hi guys, I'm Kyla.
I'm Dominique.
Hi, I'm Kathleen.
I'm Daniela Bloom.
Alexis Miranda.
So to prep for this, I basically went through a list and I said, how is Trump not conservative? And I just want to kind of count some of the ways I think that he is not conservative. So he swears on the Bible as a political stunt, never attends church. Who's his pastor, by the way? What church does he actually attend? Does anybody know? On his third wife, I think, and has children with all previous ex-wives. He cheated on his pregnant wife with an actress and then paid her hush money in a 2016 election, which resulted in felonies against him. But he doesn't stop there. He actually, speaking of mistresses, he has 8 known mistresses, and that's not including the teenagers on Epstein Island. He has centralized power underneath the executive branch more than any president in modern history. He has increased the federal debt by $2 trillion while lining his own pockets with $1.5 billion. The only really clear example of insider trading, Dan Crenshaw and Nancy Pelosi, is Trump himself. It's pretty impressive. And he's weaponized the DOJ and violated states' rights over and over and over again. So I'm not actually sure what he's conserving at this point. I don't even know what Trump is conservative about.
All right, so yeah, I'll go ahead and respond to that. You know, a lot of people get it confused as far as values versus party. And they also, a lot of people will vote because of how they feel or, you know, what they think or perceive somebody to be. And that's not, let's not say wrong, but whenever we vote for somebody for conservative values, we're not voting for them because they're Christian. We're not voting for them because they're perfect people. Because guess what? If that was the case, we wouldn't vote for anybody. We voted for Trump because of the values that he pushed that aligned with conservative values as far as, you know, stopping abortion, which he has fought against. You have different things such as, you know, fighting against the big movement within the LGBTQ community, especially pushing transgenderism on children. That's a big problem. And some of the other things, you know, open borders, a lot of these big problems that we have seen within the past, you know, administrations, he's trying to cut and help. And by no means is Trump perfect. By no means is he a Jesus figure. But at the end of the day, he absolutely represented conservative values far better than the latter.
Any ideas?
Well, Trump is the head of the MAGA party, America First. Conservative values are the family is the most important institution in society. The Democratic Party, and particularly white liberal women, pumped free sex feminism, sexual liberation, mass immigration, illegal aliens. This is breaking up families. They've been pumping this since the 1960s.
Sure, liberal's gonna liberal, but the thing you actually have to defend here is that Trump's a conservative. The guy, wait, did you guys vote for Trump? Do you hear about
Definitely.
Are you guys all conservative?
Definitely.
Okay, so what is Trump conserving for you guys? I don't care what liberals are up to. How is he conservative?
Oh, well, hey, listen. You said you feel like Trump supporters have some conservative values, right?
By voting for
But that is the prompt. So as a Trump supporter, I'm going to tell you how conservative values, because you just gave me a laundry list of something that a flawed human has done. I don't see Trump. And let me just tell you, I'm a black woman. I got good people in my family. I got killers in my family. Half the people in my family on my mom's side, the men are locked up in prison.
Would you put
know what I'm
together,
saying?
that's a conservative man that I would vote for?
But
as president?
let me just say what I have to say. You just gave me a laundry list of something that a flawed human has done. I'm going to tell you as a conservative, the values that I align with as a conservative. Number 1, family structure, tradition, upholding traditions within society. That is very important so that we stay structured and that we have boundaries in society. We need that. I know what a community is like when it doesn't have a foundation, a core foundation of tradition.
Family and structure,
So
right?
these are the conservative values that I
How does
align
Trump
with,
embody that?
but I feel like Trump and the administration and the things that they are enacting and activating, to me, those things protect certain things. Like just
How?
the basic.
And like a lot of people vote for what they think the biggest problem within America is, and rightfully so. You know, as a conservative, we feel like the biggest problem in America is broken families, broken households, you know, the overdependence on the government. Whereas on the other side, liberals a lot of time believe the biggest problem is not enough support from the government, not enough government assistance, not enough, government programs that help people. And, we kind of take the more accountability, self-accountability role on the right side, whereas on the left side, they put the dependence on the left side, on the government specifically. And, they say it's because of systemic racism or, like the patriarchy, just different things that have, imposed some levels of oppression, but it's not as prevalent as we feel it is. We don't deem that to be the number one issue. It is an issue, don't get me wrong, but a lot of those things have been corrected. And while we do see the byproduct of them day to day, there's nothing that can save you but Jesus Christ and self-accountability at the end of the day.
Things like a man and a woman.
What does that have to do with
Everything that literally is the basis, is the nucleus of the family.
Can men and women
So,
married if
but
you
when
think
you
that
try to
other people's choice?
confuse people on what the basic things of life are as a man and a woman, like to me, you are literally undoing a basic foundation
worse
of
for marriage?
of society.
Trans people existing or cheating on your wife 8 times while she's pregnant with porn actress.
And they're not arguing which is Trump a perfect moral person. That's not what we voted for. So this is just an argument full of fallacy.
You think it's like talking about somebody cheating? I mean, people cheat across the aisle. I'm not saying that I condone it. So family structure is important to me.
How is he doing that?
Upholding traditions
How is he
within
doing that?
society. The fabric of society is important to me. Limited government is important to me. And uniting everything under the executive branch, to me, that goes back to being a republic. That is being
Amendment
all
is
over,
the opposite of
with everything being all over the place and you let him run wild. Literally, all these different sects and fashions, they have all this power and control, and we're in just a bunch of confusion. So I align with some of the things that he's doing.
Right. And I would say a big conservative value that we love is smaller government and more power to the states, to the people. Liberals on the other side, they want a stronger centralized government, but that's because they trust the government. We simply do not. Not as much as
I like financial conservatism, being financially conservative for the individual. I believe in individual responsibility. That's a conservative value that I align with. I don't believe in endless welfare social programs. I see what they do to communities. I see what they've done to the Black community, which is my community. And social individual responsibility is a very conservative thing. I think that
the government has created a lot of these welfare systems to maybe support the people, but it's turned into more of a dependence program rather than an assistance program. The majority of people that I know who are on welfare have been on welfare for decades, and they probably will die on welfare. It's not a system created to help get you to that next level to get freedom, but it is to stay dependent on the government. There are literally people right now who are declining being in a marriage simply because they don't want to lose their benefits. They have married the government and divorced the husbands. This is the problem in America, one of the biggest, and this is why we see over 70% of households growing up with one parent, and majority of the time it's by a woman. And this is what leads to people going to jail. This is what leads to a lot of confusion, a lot of broken homes. I'm not saying that women suck at raising children, but the same could be said with the man in the household and no woman. We are meant to coexist, to help grow and raise children together, not separate in 2 different households. A correlation between the crime rate and broken homes.
So again, I hear the things that you value, and I believe you that you value these things. What I'm saying to you is, if you're a Trump supporter, especially right now to this day, do you still support Trump, or are you like not on
I
his?
support him. I don't support everything
And I
he
don't
does.
know how you do so and hold your values.
Hi there. So I'm a former Democrat, and the Democrat Party has gotten so haywire that I find myself way more comfortable aligning with conservative values. And you brought up the Bible. Let's talk about Samson and King David, who were flawed individuals that turned out to be incredible leaders.
Amen.
I'm not picking my president based on his human flaws. And by the way, did you know that he has fantastic relationships with each of his ex-wives? All the children get along. You just look at his children and grandchildren and how they absolutely adore him. You cannot say that about the Biden family, but I don't even want to split hairs. The bottom line is, what Trump has brought back to the American people is peace through strength. And when you have accountability, and you understand that diplomacy doesn't often work with bad actors, but deterrence does. I feel safer under law and order. I feel safer under accountability, and I am a Trump supporter all day.
And that's something that's so very key that she said. You know, we don't support Trump in everything he does. You know, there are things that misalign with our conservative values or our Christian values, and that's completely okay. You should not be an absolutist for any candidate. I don't care who it is, whether you're a liberal, whether you're a Democrat, whether you're a Republican, whether you're conservative. I don't care who's in that position. You should be hoping and supporting the things that are good and that align with your values and not supporting the other things. You know, it's as simple as that. If you can't call out, you're wrong. If you can't call out your side, you're wrong.
So I think the FBI and the DOJ have a lot of the both administrations. So peace through deterrence. Trump was handed a mess in 2024. Biden lifting sanctions in Iran, October 7th, never would have happened. The war in Ukraine and Russia.
Hold on. Trump lifted the sanctions from Iran.
No,
He JCPO.
Okay, let Dominic take this. This is her.
It was actually the Biden administration. It was
Yes.
from 2016. So with the hostage exchange, 6 million and then 10 million from Iraq were lifted.
So the JC.
First of all, you know, you suffer from Trump derangement syndrome. You're obsessed. You are obsessed with Trump. And as a Black American, there's no way I could support the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party destroyed Black American families, pumping free sex feminism. White liberal women need to take responsibility for pumping free sex feminism, sexual liberation. The Democratic Party destroyed Black America by pumping mass immigration.
Now, you know, the broken household, you know, the dependence on the government that led to a lot of these broken homes, especially within the Black community. You know, they took the fathers out of the home, whether it was them planting cocaine and crack in these neighborhoods, or was them just, you know, over criminalizing us. This was an actual thing. And what did it lead to? The destruction of the household. And I'm one of those people who say, guess what? Yes, Black people in that sense, but also white people are suffering from the same thing. Hispanics too, the same thing. We're all seeing a shift in the culture where people are depending more on the government and less on the people. People are divorcing because of happiness. Anybody who's been in a marriage for a long time will tell you, you know, there will be challenges, there will be tough times, but the world tells you to run if you feel certain types of way. You know, one side is saying, hey, tradition is more important. The other side is saying feelings are more important. When you look at feelings and who's pumping that propaganda, it's leading to what we're seeing today, you know.
Illegal aliens. We know the data on this since the late 1800s. Mass immigration destroys Black America. The reason why I support Trump, mass deportation is a good thing.
He was deported in Obama.
For
And-
pointing that out.
But for liberal women, but for liberal white women in Minnesota, precluding ICE from deporting illegal aliens, getting in the way. Liberal white women have destroyed Black America since the 1960s, and we've had enough. Black America has had enough of it. And Trump, listen, Hanson,
He's getting IVF to be covered under health insurance. That's
great.
supporting
I actually
families.
love his tax
Okay,
credits. Yeah.
wonderful. The other thing, he's tax credits every time there's a new baby. It's $1,000 tax credit. How is that not supporting families?
I think that
How
was
is that not
that's a
ways?
small, but I would say one thing that's not helping families is completely destroying the economy through a tariff system that he's utilizing
been in
and
office for 1
increasing
year. He's been in
and
office for 1 year.
increasing debt. You're right. And in a single year, did you know? Here's a crazy fact for you. He's made more net worth growth 1 year, 5 times than the entire
Because he
wealth
doesn't take a
growth.
salary. He doesn't need to do this for money.
Conservative values for me personally. Before Trump, the administration, what I saw was children confused about their gender. I work at a junior high school. What I saw was people who didn't see the value in boundaries and limitations. I saw people doing crime, going in, getting out because of liberal policies, because lenient policies, people coming back to the streets, being reoffenders in brown and Black communities. I saw, it just felt like chaos. I see Black people getting displaced in LA by undocumented people. And Black people whisper about this. This has been happening for decades. And so this is what I saw. And I saw Trump leading a movement that had solutions to those problems that I see around me every single day. I know you got statistics and you got your facts, but I'm giving you the real, what's happening on the ground and what's important to me. And I feel like Trump and how he moves and what he's activating, I feel like he is Those are solutions to the real problems on the ground impacting the people that I touch and I care about and I love every single day. Because Biden, that administration wasn't doing it. Period.
When I say that you've abandoned all conservative values, what I mean is that you have historically, as a conservative movement, for example, isolationism. That's not like a conservative position at all. In fact, most neocons were very for aggressive global trade because it's good for America to do global trade. What we're talking about, limited government, consolidating power to the executive branch is the opposite of everything that's in the American Constitution. That's like that's what the 10th Amendment is about. It's called federalism, state rights. Violating states' rights. For example, during the shutdown, Trump took away $11 billion in federal funding that was only going to blue states to squeeze utilizing the people, his people, because he's the president of America, not of Republicans. And he squeezed blue states to try to force the end of a government shutdown. He will actively weaponize Medicaid, Medicare. He is currently threatening to throw out TSA agents and just replace them with ICE at airports because he doesn't care about the common man. He doesn't care about fiscal responsibility, hence our debt going up by $2 trillion, by the way. And talking about fiscal responsibility, he has played insider trading. He bragged about the fact that two of his friends, when they did some sort of insider trading in like February, I think his exact quote was, this guy made $2.5 million and he made $900 million. And I need you to understand, those people are taking the money from American taxpayers and people involved in the stock market.
She has a great point right there. You know, it's absolutely wrong, and in no way should you support it or say that Trump is okay or it's good what he's doing. In totality, you know, there are a lot of bad things that Trump has done, a lot of things that I disagree with personally. I speak about them, and I push a lot of conservatives to do the same because it's like we become radical whenever we do the same thing they do, as far as blindly support every single thing these politicians say and do. You know, I think the MAGA movement is not the exact same as conservatism. And I think a lot of people kind of blur the lines because there's a lot of us who claim to be conservative but are actually Trump blind loyalists. So, you know, I say the biggest thing is learn how to call out your politician. If they're doing something wrong, call them out. They should be on both sides. And I understand you're going to get attacked by the other side saying, oh, we told you so, or are you feeling you're regretting your decision now? And, you know, just because you disagree with something that Trump does not mean you wish you would have voted for Kamala, and vice versa. We have to grow up and just stop caring about what other people think. You know, if you understand what you're saying, learn how to communicate it. And, you know, if people don't understand, expect it. There's people who just are too emotionally attached to everything to where they're going to be offended no matter what you say, no matter how you say it. So the people who will understand ultimately. Grow up here.
That's bad. That's fundamentally bad. And if you're a conservative believes in rule of law, you should be asking questions about the Epstein files. If you care about smaller government, him consolidating power is the opposite of that, actually, right? You want fiscal responsibility? He's not your guy. You want good, respectful relationships with our allies, which has been a consistent conservative position as well? Trump doesn't have that. And yeah, his family dynamics, no, they don't reflect anything Christian, because he's not, or anything to do with conservative nuclear values. This is why he like brags about how hot his daughter is, and if she wasn't his daughter, he might get into a relationship. He's done this. He's done this behavior. I think it's very telling when the reply to my criticisms, and credit to Trump, by the way, is just that I have TDS. How can I have TDS if I can acknowledge child tax credit? It's my turn. It's empty and thought terminating. And there are things that I can look back, especially at his first presidency, that I think liberals are very deranged about. Warp speed was fantastic. He did multiple tax credits. But there isn't a conservative policy. I don't see him conserving a single thing. He has made so many executive changes and whatnot. There isn't anything conserved. And even his own family is conserved or conservative.
He did a great job with his family.
So we'll end that here. We'll address the rest of the video in future videos. If you like the content, go ahead, leave a like, comment, subscribe to my channel. I'm Chandler Griffin. Again, I hope you like the content. OF Guapo is the channel. We are on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, everywhere, TikTok. So we'll be posting content daily. I push Christian values, conservative values, and if that aligns with you and things you feel, please join our community. Go ahead, and I would love to see you there. I appreciate y'all for watching. Go ahead, share it if you liked it. Take care. Until next time.